Okay, and now I will be sharing my screen. Also, I would want you to confirm if you can see my screen, please. I would want you to also confirm if you can see my screen. I believe you should be able to see it, but I would love for you to confirm if you can see my screen. Please type "we can see your screen" in the chat box if you can. Thank you very much. Okay, good evening, everybody. Good day. Thank you for joining today's session. This is our 3 days public speaking masterclass, day 2. And today we'll be talking about structuring and delivering your speech with clarity. I remain your coach. My name is Elizabeth Akinfenwa. I'm a public speaking and English fluency coach. Thank you for joining me once again. Yesterday, for those that joined us, and if you were not able to join us yesterday, go through my YouTube channel. If you are watching this video on YouTube, you will see day 1 public speaking masterclass. Go and watch day 1 and also come back to this day 2, because day 1 was definitely packed with massive value. So yesterday we talked about mindset. If you remember, we talked about the mindset of a confident speaker. We established the fact that confidence begins in the mind before it shows in your speech. You have to believe that you are confident. You have to believe that your message is more important than your fear. You have to believe that what you want to pass across to your audience is important, and even that you yourself, you are important. So today we are taking it a step further. Because even with the right mindset, even when you say, okay, I have said all these affirmations, if it looks like that to you, I have said my message is more important than my fear, all this, I've done all this, I have the right mindset, what then still happen? That I still freeze when I want to talk. What then still happen? That I want to talk, I know what I want to say in my mind, I just don't know how to structure it. I just don't know how to put it down. I don't know how to put my thought into expression. So this is what we are going to be tackling today. Today, we want to talk about how to structure your thought. You have the thought, you have the idea, you have the point in your mind, you know what to say, you just do not know how to say it. So it is that how that we are going to talk about today. And I want you to understand this, that this is what lays the foundation for preparation. Because this is what you say in public speaking coaching, that what makes many people to flop in public speaking is that they don't know how to practice. We let people know that practice is important in public speaking, but many people don't know how to practice. Practicing in public speaking is not about cramming your speech. No, that's why we say preparation is not about perfection. It is about clarity. So when you know what to say, then you are going to speak with confidence and you are going to speak with control. So the essence of what we are going to be doing today is to tell us how to prepare. How to structure your speech, and then prepare with that structure that you have made. Now, how confident speakers prepare, not memorize. And I want to believe that you have tried to download our free ebook on 10 secrets of confident speakers. If you have not, find your way to the Telegram group, click the link, the main stack link, follow the prompt, fill in the necessary details that it asks of you, and the book is going to be dropped in your email. Now, many people panic because they think public speaking means memorizing every line. That's where people get it wrong. When we are telling you that you have to practice your speech, you have to prepare your speech, many people think it is about cramming your lines. And that is very dangerous. I don't know if this has happened to you while in school before, that when you try to cram, when you cram your speech, or maybe you cram your note to the examination hall, one thing you will notice is that when you forget a line, you tend to forget everything. The same thing can happen to you in public speaking. When you memorize, there are a lot of things that happen to you. One, you can forget everything when you memorize. When maybe you forget a line, you just forget everything. Another thing is that when you memorize, you tend to deliver your speech in a robotic sense. It sounds safe because you do not want to miss your line. You do not want to do a mistake. You sound stiff. But what confident speakers, what they do is that they don't memorize their speech. They do not memorize their speech. What they do is that they prepare and they internalize. That's one thing you have to learn. You have to be able to internalize your speech, and then that speech is going to flow out from you naturally, because you have to be a natural speaker. Your audience shouldn't feel that as if it is a robot that is talking to them. No, no. And what do confident speakers, what do they do? One, they analyze their audience. That is the first thing that you have to take note. They analyze their audience. One of the things that we do in public speaking is what we call audience analysis. Audience analysis. And audience analysis is telling us it is when you understand that, okay, who are the audience that I am talking to? Who are the audience that I will be speaking to? What is the demography of this audience? Are they young people? Are they young adults? Are they teenagers? Are they girls only? You have to start from analyzing your audience. Are they women? Are they men? Are they mixture of men and women? Are they Christian, or is it a secular setting? Because all these things will determine even how your speech is going to be written and how it is going to be formed, when you already know the kind of audience that you are sent to. There's a lady that was here yesterday and was asking some questions. Then asked, okay, what if she was invited to an international girl's child, and peradventure the speech that she prepared is what other people had already prepared also, and it seems that the second speaker had already said almost all the things that she prepared to say, and I was able to answer her yesterday. But one thing I want to draw out from that scenario is that you can see how she said almost all the speakers prepared their speech the same way. It is because the speakers had already analyzed their audience. So that's why there could be that synchrony. That's why there could be that sync with their speech. That's why there could be that sync with their speech, because they've already analyzed. They've already know that, okay, who are the people we want to go and talk to? We want to go and talk to girls at International Day of Girl Child events. So that's why their speech could relate, because each of these speakers, by the time they wanted to draft their speech, they sit down and say, okay, I'm going to be talking to girls. So what are the things I can discuss with girls? So confident speakers start from analyzing their audience. And the second thing they do is that they understand their topic deeply. They understand their topic. They ask themselves, okay, what is this topic all about? What are the things I'm supposed to say concerning this topic? And then in drafting their speech, they then start to outline their key points. What are the points I can talk about? What are the things I can talk about? And that is when they start rehearsing naturally, not cramming, not word for word. They rehearse naturally. They rehearse the points, the key points that they have already put down. That is how confident speakers prepare and not memorize their speech. And I want you to understand that when you memorize your speech, like I said, you become stiff. It won't come out naturally. But when you prepare, there's a thin line between memorize and prepare. They are not the same thing. So when we are talking about preparation in public speaking, we are not talking about memorization. We are not talking about cramming. We are talking about preparation. We are talking about structuring your speech and then preparing that structure, and then you then deliver it naturally. So always prepare your speech with a structure in mind, not a script in your head. Structure, introduction, body, conclusion. So, what are now the three parts of of your speech that is important? There are three parts. Having understand that you have to be able to prepare your speech and not memorize your speech, it is important for us to then talk about the three parts of your speech. A great speech has these three parts. The first one is the introduction. The second one is the body. And the third one is the conclusion. And one thing I want you to understand is that they said whether long or short, no matter how long your speech is, no matter how short your speech is, you have to have what? That structure. Even the body of your speech, even this key point, let's say you want to talk about key point, even your key point, your explanation of your point must have that structure, that introduction, body, and conclusion. Now, what does the introduction of a speech, what is it all about? Now, I want you to look at this analogy. The introduction of your speech is like the door to a house. Look at that analogy. The introduction of your speech is the door to a house. The body of your speech are the rooms. The rooms. Master bedroom, guest room, kitchen, toilet. Those are the body of your speech, the main point. And your conclusion is the exit door. Your conclusion is the exit door. So when you have that analogy, you see the importance of each of these words, of each of these parts. Please, as you are joining the call, please mute yourself. Thank you very much. So your introduction must grab the attention. Your introduction must grab the attention. That's the door to your speech. It is how we enter the house that we say, maybe we enter the house and we are taken to the sitting room, and you see how lovely, how the interior decor is. You say, wow, this is beautiful. So the introduction of your speech, we must grab the attention of your audience. It must grab the attention of your audience. And what are the things we can start with? One, you can start with a question, a story, or a fact. Those are the ways you can start your introduction. You could start with a question. You could start with story or fact. And then another thing is that clearly state what your audience will gain. Those are the things you can include into your introduction. And then depending on the kind of speech you are giving, in a kind of speech called informative speech, you could tell us, you could highlight the key points you are going to give us in your introduction. You could tell us your credibility as a speaker. What qualification or what gives you right to speak on that particular topic. But most importantly, let your introduction grab attention. I have a video on TikTok on 3 ways you can introduce your speech instead of the boring "good morning, my name is." You do not have to start your speech necessarily with "good morning, my name is." You could start with a question. You could start with a statement of fact. You could start with statistics. Questions like, do you know that many people fear public speaking more than death? You could start with a story. I remember when I was in senior secondary school, I experienced my stage fright for the first time. That day, I was invited to speak impromptu in a debating competition. My hand was shaking. My heart was pounding. You can see how I started with a word, with a story. So you could start with a story, but the most important thing is that you must make sure that it intrigue your audience. You must make sure that it intrigue your audience. It gain the attention of your word of your audience. Then the second part is the body. The body. Develop your main points. And this is one thing I say to people. When you are giving, let's say, 45 minutes to talk, we do not expect you to be giving us 7, 8 points. You don't need it. 2 to 4 key points are enough. Because one thing you have to understand when you are giving your speech is that your speech is not only about the key points. Know that when you raise a key point, you are expected to explain each point. So you have to explain each point, whether with a story, whether with an example, whether with statistics. You have to. So don't just keep on listing. No, 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 no. So 2 to 4 key points are naturally enough. Another thing is that make sure you use transitions when you are doing what? When you are giving your speech. Use transitions like, let's move to the next point. Here is another example. Those transitions will let your audience flow with you. Because one thing in public speaking is that you have to be able to carry your audience along with you. There's something I say that the stage is not for you to impress, it is for you to impact. And your speech is not about you, your speech is about your audience. So you have to have this consciousness and be able to carry your audience along. So you can use transitions. Let your audience know when you are moving from your introduction to your main point. Let your audience know. It's not as if you will say, okay, now we are moving to my main point. Not necessarily. There are some transition words that you can use. So moving on, another I want to reiterate is not that that speak. I know I recently anytime I accept is that most times I don't I would say don't go to understand each how did they pick size or how did they pick is event. What I noticed is that those speakers concluded in different way. But one thing that was common is that they all concluded memorably. They all ended their speech memorably. So what was I saying was that one of these speakers, one thing that he did was that after he had given us about 4 points, he asked us, it is a professional event. People were many in the hall. That's about 4,000 plus participants. But he has. So how many points have I said now? We all said 4. What's point number 1? We responded. Point number 2, we responded. Point number 3, we responded. So these things was able to, the person was able to relate. Are you get what I'm saying? The person was able to relate the point. Somebody is saying network. Is it that you cannot hear me?
The network is very poor.
Hello? Hello?
Hi.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Okay,
can get you now.
all right, thank you. Let me continue. So,
Yeah, I can hear
what's
you.
okay? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, one thing, what I'm saying is that make sure you use transitions. Use transitions to be able to connect to your audience. Then, the conclusion of your speech. Conclusion. Your conclusion is the end. That's you have to end with power. I was telling somebody recently that there are some people that maybe they're asked to speak for 25 minutes, but in the course of they have so much to say, they ended up using over time. And because the moderator or somebody is hurrying them up to end their speech, they were unable to conclude. If you do not conclude your speech, what it means is just equivalent to you not giving that speech at all. So your ending of your speech is important. Can you hear me now, Mrs. Esther? So the ending of your speech is very important. You have to end with power. One of the things that you can do is to also summarize your key message. You can summarize your key
Yeah,
message in
you're
your
very clear.
conclusion. Thank you. I think maybe from your side. The person that can't hear me, maybe from her side. Since you can hear me. Now, so you have to you can summarize your key points. You can leave your audience with something to remember or act upon. That's why there are some people they would have memorized the key line, the line that they want to use. It could be just a sentence, just a powerful quote or a saying. That's what they would just use to end that speech, and everybody will give them a standing ovation. So that's what we say, end memorably, because always remember that the audience may forget your words, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So always make your audience feel important through your words, through your speech. So like I have already said, that you have to know how confident speakers prepare, not memorize their speech, and understand that we have three parts of every great speaker, of every great speech: your introduction, your body, and your conclusion. Also, moving on, we have to learn how to I'm so sorry about that. I think I mistakenly joined with my phone again and it caught me off. So I'm going to start sharing my screen again now. Please confirm if you can hear me. Please, can you hear and see my screen? Hello? I want to believe you can hear and see my screen. Please, can you hear it?
You say what?
Can you hear me and can you see my screen?
Yeah, I
Hello?
can see your screen and I can hear you too.
Thank you very much. So, rehearse with
Yeah, I can hear
intention.
you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Rehearse with intention. What do we mean by this? You have to know that when we are talking about in public speaking, it is during your rehearsal, your preparation, that is where your confidence grow. And this is one of the things that I want you to take from this session today. I've shared that video before, and let me just talk about it. Let me give you a tip. If you are a beginner, you don't know how to start, you just want to start, you just want to improve your speaking, go and do something. You could go on the internet, or you could just generally write different topics. Just say, the way they pass laws like the way they wrap paper if they want to do something in school or something. Okay, just write different topics, any random topic that you feel you are comfortable on. Kindness, generosity, okay, reading culture, any topic. Write about 7. Then look for a container. Add those 7 topics in a container beside your bed. And then what should you do? What you should then do is that every morning, pick each topic and talk on it for 2 minutes. Talk on each topic for 2 minutes every day. The next day, pick another topic. You could move forward. You could take a step further by recording yourself. Do you understand? Record yourself. Notice your tone. Notice, and another thing you can do is that, I'm telling you how to rehearse with intention. That even if you do not have money to pay for a coach yet, you do not have money to pay for a group training yet, you can improve your speaking yourself. You can start taking that step. So one thing you should do is that, another thing, when you want to analyze yourself, when you want to judge yourself, take it one step after the other. Maybe in the next 7 days, just say you want to check how you are able to structure your idea. You want to check if your speech has introduction. You can't see my screen. Is it everybody that can't see my screen? Somebody said you can't. Let me do it again. I can't. Somebody said I can't. I think everybody should be able to see my screen now. So, as I was saying, don't rush yourself, please. Write this down, what I am saying. This is how to rehearse with intention. It is not about repeating your speech. No, it is not about repeating your speech. It is about practicing with purpose. Rehearse it as if you are speaking to an audience. So when you have those 7 topics and you've already put it in a container beside you, take each topic. You could even start by, you just want to record your voice. Maybe after 7 days and you want to do another 7 days, you can then move to, let me record as video. So when you are just starting, just take an element first. What do I want to check in the next 7 days? Do I want to check my clarity? Is it my clarity I want to check? Okay, I want to check how I'm able to structure my speech. Introduction, body, conclusion. Somebody said I can't hear anything. Is it everybody that cannot hear me? Please, if you can hear me, drop I can hear you on in the chat box so that I can know that it's from the person's side. If you can hear me, please let me know you can hear me. Thank you very much. Please, Mrs. Winner, thank you. Maybe it's from your side. You can check your microphone. You can check your speaker. So what I am saying is that take your assessment one step at a time. Don't say the first 7 days. That's when you want to notice your tone. That's when you want to notice your gesture. That's when you want to notice your pace. That's when you want to notice your structure. That's when you want to notice your clarity. No, take it one step at a time. That is how to rehearse with what? With intention. Because one thing you have to understand is that every confident speaker that you admire, they practice intentionally. That's why I tell people, if you listen to any speech today and you see that person talking, sharing story, don't think that story they are sharing, they thought of it on that stage. No. Don't think that idea just dropped on that stage. No. That's not how it is. So every speaker you admire, practice intentionally. Every speaker intentionally. So you yourself, that is, if you want to become a confident and eloquent speaker, you have to start practicing intentionally. you have to start practicing intentionally. Pick a random topic. Set your microphone on your phone. Speak on that topic. Don't even mind. Just talk. If you talk today for 1 minute, talk tomorrow for 1 minute on different topic, talk on the next day. If you listen to the 7th day recording, compare it to the first day recording, you will see a huge difference. But what most people don't know is that many people do not know that we practice speech. Or many people know that we practice, they think practice is memorizing. And I hope I've been able to clarify that practicing your speech is not the same as memorizing your speech. So rehearse your transitions and key stories. So it is also the same thing. So let's say you are no longer a beginner now. That's for a beginner. Let's say now you are now a pro. You're already taking step little by little, and they invite you to an event in your church to come and speak with teenagers, and you've been given topic. It's the same way. You are going to rehearse your speech. So how do you typically rehearse that speech? What you will do is that, okay, this is the topic I've been given. Research. What do you want to do? What do you want to talk about? Which Bible verse do you want to talk about? And then know the introduction that you want to give. Use the first few days to practice your introduction. If it is story that you want to share, because this is one thing. There was one of my clients I reached out one time like this. He was part of the participants of my confidence accelerator, I think 3.0. He said that he has been putting into use all the things, the tips I shared and all that. But he said one major issue that he had then was time management. He said, okay, he uses story, but one thing he just discovered is that in the process of telling story, he discovered that his story takes more than half of his time. He discovered that he wastes time on his story, that he would not be able to now speak on the real topic. And that's one thing you need to understand. For every story that you are going to share in that event, that teenagers event that you have been invited to rather, you must have practiced it before you go. Set your timer. You know that your phone, it is powerful. You are not just utilizing it. You want to say that story, and you do not want that story to be more than 2 minutes. Record. The first time you are going to record that story, just that story alone, the story, your introduction alone, you don't want your introduction to be more than 2 minutes. So let me let you know that the first time you are going to record that introduction alone, it might be up to 5 or 7 minutes. But when you've already recorded it the first time, listen to it. Okay, what are the things I can cut? Instead of explaining this, how can I summarize this? How can I shorten it? Do it again. It will reduce. Do it until you get the perfect story within the time frame that you want. Then you've already rehearsed your introduction. Then you move to your key points. Not cramming. Remember, you've already outlined your key points. Okay, what do I want to talk about? This is my point number 1. How do I explain point number 1? Do I want to use story? Do I want to use example from the Bible? Do I want to use statistics? Do I want to use... Those are the things. So it is whatever you have already decided to use. That's what you are going to rehearse. Then you move to point number 2. Point number 3, the same thing. And then your conclusion. You will rehearse that conclusion too. How many minutes do you want your conclusion to be? Record it. So these are the things that you are going to what? You have to be able to rehearse with intention. Rehearse with intention. Practice intentionally, not randomly. Speech is about what? Giving your speech is about having structure. Now, another aspect of constructing your speech with clarity that we talk about is power of storytelling. The power of storytelling. Storytelling is an important element in public speaking. You know, since the beginning, since when I started this lesson today, I've been referring to story. Okay, you can start your introduction with a story. You can support your key points with story. That is because storytelling is important. Facts tell, but stories sell. People like story. That is why That's why that is why we watch movies. That's why we watch films, because when you watch movies, you see the way real life is being portrayed on the screen. You relate to it. So people want to connect emotionally to what you are saying. They want to connect emotionally to what you are saying. So think about me. I can actually think about so many speakers I've listened to that really moved me. It was their story. I remember there is this woman that I used to follow then. I think I still follow. I still listen to her, but then she used to give a lot of speeches then. Her name is Dr. La Brown. She used to be Dr. La Orekunrin before she got married. She's a medical doctor, but she runs an air ambulance company. You know the way we have ambulance, motor ambulance. This one is air ambulance, aircraft. So if somebody is sick in Nigeria now and they want to refer that person to South Africa or to London, and they won't just put the person into normal aircraft that people take. It is a company that does that. Now, there was a speech she gave at, I think, TEDx Berlin. And that was where she shared that her story for the first time. And I could remember, I can still remember that story. I can still remember. And in fact, that's even her brand story. So anywhere she goes to talk about her brand, about her company, she's always telling us about that story. And what was the story? The story was that there was a time, because she grew up in London, there was a time they came to Nigeria and her sister was sick, and they were to refer her, they were to take her outside the country, but they couldn't find an air ambulance. The nearest one they could find in Africa was in South Africa. The distance before they could get the air ambulance, before they could take her to this thing, eventually her sister died. And it was at that moment that she said, she wouldn't want any other person to go through the pain that she went through. So she started that her speech with that story. And we were able to connect with it because I am the sample of the audience that listened to that speech. You can see how I still remember that story. Even though it's not even might. I can't remember word for word what Dr. Olabran said in that speech, but I can still remember that story. That is the power of storytelling. So if you want to be a confident and eloquent speaker, start training yourself how to tell stories. Start training yourself how to tell story. Whenever you want to prepare your speech, ask yourself, what story can I tell to bring my point to life? What personal experience can make this message real for others? Because people want to feel you. People want to know that, okay, you are going through what we are going through. So that's why when you tell a story that people in your audience can truly relate with, they connect with it. Wow, so we are not alone. That's the power of storytelling. But you have to understand that, because you may think somebody may have a question and say, what if I don't have any story that relates to the topic I want to give? It is possible. It is not everything in this world that you can relate with. It is not all the experiences in this world that you can relate with. So some stories may not be yours at times. Yes. Some stories may not be yours. You could share a story from a book you read, a film you watched. But one thing you need to understand, because there is a part of humanity to public speaking, there is a part of ethics to public speaking. Despite the fact that you want to connect with your audience, never means the truth. Never personalize a story that is not yours. Never tell lie. If that story is not your story, do not personalize it. If that story is from a film, say it is from a film. If that story is from a book that you read, say it is from a book that you read. So always know that there is a power in storytelling. So I want you to put to practice all the things that I've said today in this session. Go and take a topic. Say something about that topic. Let it have introduction. Let it have body. Let it have conclusion. It could be your introduction. You can see it could be your introduction. You could drop it on the chat. Let your introduction, you can start with a story or a question about your journey. You can mention 2 or 3 aspects of who you are and what you do. And you can end with what drives you and what your audience will gain from you. So it may not be introduction, it may be any topic. Pick a topic, talk about it, let it have introduction, let it have body, and then the conclusion. If you look at this sample that I wrote using this template, I said, have you ever had something important to say, but fear held your voice on stage? I started with a question, right? That's the introduction. I understand that feeling because I've seen it in so many brilliant people who simply needed confidence to step forward and speak. That's the introduction. My name is Elizabeth Akinfenwa, and I'm a public speaking and fluency coach. Through the English Mastery Academy, I help individuals, students, teachers, professionals, and creators find their voice and communicate with clarity, confidence, and impact. That's the body. Looking at it, that's the body, right? Who you are and what you do. I've worked with clients who once couldn't speak up during meetings or give a simple vote of thanks, and today they are delivering presentations with poise and power. What drives me is seeing people transform from shy, unsure to bold and eloquent. Because I believe that when you find your voice, you don't just speak, you inspire change. Look at the way that introduction is, and it is a total package. It has an introduction, a body, and conclusion. You can say, what is the conclusion supposed to be? End with what drives you or what your audience gain from you. You can say, what drives me is seeing people transform from shy and unsure to bold and eloquent. Because I believe that when you find your voice, you don't just speak, you inspire change. I want you can even use this format. Use this format, construct an introduction about what you do. Are you a teacher? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you a conductor? Whatever you do, form this introduction using this sample. And I want you to keep on practicing. The reflection challenge I want you to have today is that, what is one topic that you could talk about passionately for 2 minutes without a script? If I wake you now, or if I give room for people to talk, maybe we should even give a room for one person or 2 people to talk about anything for 1 minute, and make sure that they say something for 1 minute. What are you going to talk about? Just say something for 1 minute. So that is your starting point. Just say anything, because it does not really start with stage. It's not about stage. It's not about, okay, until I face 1,000 people, that's when I'm going to talk. No, it starts with a story, and that story is yours to tell. So our conclusion is this: clarity builds confidence. Every great speaker you admire today, they didn't start with perfection. I've said that. They started with clarity. They understood that confidence doesn't just come from knowing what to say, but from organizing how you say it. It's not about, okay, I know what to say. It's not about, okay, I want to talk about this. That's why you see many people, they say, I actually know what to say, but I don't just know how to say it. That's how to say it is your organization. And that's why I actually tell people that you can prepare for an impromptu speech. It is possible. An impromptu speech is those kind of speech that a random topic will just be thrown at you and you will talk on it. Yes, despite the fact that it's a random topic, you can prepare for it when you already have structure. So when you prepare with structure, when you rehearse with intention, and you add the heart of storytelling, your words begin to carry weight and your message become memorable. Let me repeat. When you prepare with structure, when you rehearse with intention, and add the heart of storytelling, your words begin to carry weight and your message becomes memorable. So, when next you have the opportunity to prepare your speech or to introduce yourself, I want you to always remember this. You don't need to sound like anyone else. I recently dropped a video this evening on 3 myths of public speaking that you shouldn't fall for. Go and check my TikTok or Instagram page and listen. So you don't need to sound like anybody else. You just need to sound clear. You need to sound confident and you need to be authentic. That's how you earn your audience attention, not through fancy words, not through accent. No, it is not about accent. It is not about perfection. It is about connection. So I want you to take time, practice your 2 minute introduction today. After this call, tomorrow morning, face the mirror, talk about it. So picture yourself on the stage. Be calm, be clear, and be in control. So tomorrow, which is day 3, we are going to be talking about what then happens on the stage. We've talked about what happened in your mind, the mindset of a confident speaker. We've talked about how you should prepare for that stage, how you should organize your speech. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about what happened on the stage, how to overcome fear, how to command presence, and truly own your space. So, thank you very much. We have come to the end of this session. Check the Telegram group for the link to download our short guide on the 10 secrets of confident speakers. Please download it, read it, send your reviews to me on my email or on WhatsApp. And let me add this. We are starting this on the 3rd of November. That's the 5th cohort. That's the 5th batch. Or anytime you are watching this video, know that there's always a batch, a cohort running, and you should sign up for the coming batch. And it is called the Confidence Mastery Accelerator. It is a public speaking only. All we do for 4 weeks, 30 days, is public speaking. Public speaking. You are going to learn how to perform audience analysis effectively. Remember, I mentioned it. Audience analysis, how to structure your speech. We are going to talk about that. We are going to talk extensively about storytelling. We are going to talk about how to overcome stage fright, how to master your body language, and how to speak with clarity, charisma, and impact. And there are a number of bonuses: effective listening skills, handling question and answer, interview session tips, writing professional emails, and there's going to be 7 days public speaking challenge. And definitely, there are about 2 to 3 ebooks that you are going to get. And that 10 secrets of confident speaker is also one of it that you are going to get access to if you haven't downloaded it. And we also have an alumni support group where we still continue to share tips. You are going to have access to that. Send me a DM today if you want to join this batch. We are currently, the registration is still on. We are going to start the class November 3rd, 2025. Thank you very much for joining this session today. So I'm going to move to the group now, and then we are going to ask question time. Yeah, question times. It's 2 things that I want you people to do today. If you can hear me, I want us to talk about, if you have a question, unmute yourself and talk. And I want to also give time, because we have just 10 more minutes to go. I want to also give room for anybody that wants to talk. I mentioned that talk on any topic in 1 minute, anything. Try, don't be scared. This is a safe space. Unmute yourself and talk on anything for 1 minute. I'm going to set my timer. Talk. Give yourself that start. Start today. Who wants to be that? Who wants to talk? Who wants to talk? Who is that person that believes in himself or herself? Who is that person that believes that our message is more important than her fear? Or mute yourself and talk. Talk on anything, or you can ask any question. Ask any question.
Um, I think it's better for you to ask us some questions.
I can't ask a question. I don't have any question to ask. I have already done the presentation. I think I've given value. It is you that maybe you have any question as regards any question, public speaking, what I've said today that you are not clear with, you can ask me the question. And you can also talk. Do you want to talk about any topic in 1 minute? Can you do that? Or,
Um, anyway,
or should I give you a topic?
no, not really.
Okay.
In which way?
You said? Hello, do we have any question from anybody? Is the link. I'm going to resend the link to download the ebook. It's so simple. When you click the link, it's just going to ask you few questions, because I heard some people said they weren't able to. It's so easy. There are a number of people that have already gotten the notification that they've already downloaded theirs. I've sent the link. When you open the link, it's going to ask you to just fill a simple form, which is your name, your email, and your phone number, which is optional. So when you fill it, so you are just going to click get for free. So you are then going to go and check that email that you provide. You will see the book in your email. It is as simple as that. It is as simple as that. Do we have any question? Does anybody want to say anything? If not,